This is MeetSean, where we break down real life topics insurance, annuities, real estate, travel planning, and home ownership so you can make smarter moves. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.
The convenience of online shopping is, it's just unbeatable. But here's the thing we all kind of have to face. Every time we click that buy now button, we are stepping into a new and honestly, a massive digital risk zone. The chances of fraud, of identity theft, they've just exploded right alongside the market.
And that's exactly why our mission today isn't just to give you, a basic checklist.
Right.
It's to really build an essential framework. We're talking about 11 critical red flags you need to be able to spot before you ever finalize a purchase.
To make sure that checkout is actually secure.
Exactly. To protect your information and, frankly, to avoid the nightmare of identity theft.
Okay, so before we get into what we need to do as shoppers, let's talk for a second about what's happening behind the scenes. Because retailers are actually fighting back now, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. The defense is getting much more sophisticated. We're seeing this huge rollout of AI and machine learning in fraud detection.
What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, these systems aren't just looking at, say, one single transaction. They're analyzing billions of data points to spot patterns, anomalies in how people buy things, and they do it in real time. They basically learn what normal looks like for you.
So let's say I only ever buy books and clothes. If I suddenly try to buy a $5,000 TV, the AI might flag that.
Precisely.
Okay.
It flags those deviations.
Yeah.
And the other massive trend that's giving us more security is the wider adoption of multi-factor authentication, or MFA.
Right, the code to your phone.
Yeah, that second layer. A password alone just isn't enough anymore. That text message or a thumbprint, that's a critical defense against someone getting into your account, especially if your password gets stolen from somewhere else.
Okay, that gives us some good context. But even with the stores getting smarter, we're still the first line of defense. So let's start this deep dive where everyone should, the technical check of the site itself.
We have to nail the basics first. Not because you don't know them, but because it's so easy to skip them when you're in a hurry. You absolutely have to check the address bar. Look for that little padlock icon, and most importantly, the S in HTTPS. If that S is missing, if it just says HTTP,
You stop.
you stop immediately.
But, okay, so you see the HTTPS, you see the padlock. That doesn't automatically guarantee the seller is legit, does it? It just means the data is encrypted.
That is such a key distinction. A lot of people miss that. The padlock just shows there's an SSL certificate, which encrypts the data moving between your browser and the website. It protects your credit card number in transit.
Okay.
But here's the layer that most shoppers miss. Not all SSL certificates are created equal.
Okay, so tell us more about that. What's the deep dive here?
So the most common type is called a domain validation, or DV certificate. It's cheap, it's fast, and it only proves that the owner controls that domain name.
So a scammer could get one easily.
Very easily.
Yeah.
For any kind of real financial transaction, you want to look for sites that have an organization validation, or OV certificate, or the gold standard extended validation, EV.
And why does that matter to me if I'm just buying, say, a pair of shoes?
Because OV and especially EV certificates require the issuer to rigorously check that the company is a real, legal, operational business with a physical presence. It's a stamp of legal identity.
So for a big bank or a major retailer, you'd expect to see that.
You should, yeah. Sometimes it'll show up as a green bar or the company's full name right next to the padlock. It's much, much harder for a scammer to fake that kind of verification. It's a real sign of trust.
That is a crucial difference. Okay, so beyond the certificates, what about other just visual signs of a sketchy website?
You look for the signs of, well, laziness. The technical red flags on a scam site are often really obvious.
Like what?
A missing contact page, no physical address anywhere, really poor design, and maybe the most glaring sign of all spelling and grammar mistakes all over the site. Scammers are playing a numbers game. They don't have time for proofreading.
Right. So once we've figured out the site isn't a technical death trap, the next thing is judging the actual deal. And this brings us right to probably the biggest red flag of all, the price.
If the price makes you do a double take, it should also make you hit the brakes. We're talking about those unbelievably low prices.
Yeah.
A really popular, in-demand item being sold for, a tiny fraction of what it's worth. That's not a deal. That's a psychological trap. It's designed to make you shut off your common sense.
And our sources are really clear on this. If you see a brand name product at some crazy discount, you have to do some serious homework. The risk isn't just about losing your money.
No, it's about getting counterfeit goods.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
When you see a price that just seems impossible, you're probably dealing with one of two things. Either it's a scammer who's just going to take your money and disappear,
Or
you're going to get a cheap, illegal, and sometimes even dangerous counterfeit product in the mail.
And that leads right into brand trust, doesn't it? I mean, reputable brands don't need to resort to these frantic, unbelievable discounts.
They don't. A good company has a consistent online presence. They have clear, transparent return policies, and they have a history of positive reviews. We see those little trust badges on websites.
Yeah, the secured by logos.
Right, but like you said earlier about the padlock, anyone can just copy and paste a fake graphic onto their website.
So how can you tell if a trust badge is real?
A real one should be clickable. It should link you out to the security provider's website showing that the certification is active for that specific domain. If it's just a static picture, you should probably assume it's fake.
Got it. And speaking of psychology, what about flash sales?
The pressure tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Only 3 left in stock. Or sale ends in 10 minutes. That little countdown timer is specifically designed to bypass your rational brain. It wants you to commit before you have a chance to read the fine print or check out the seller's history.
So you have to be willing to just step away for a minute.
You have to. Go verify the offer on their main website, look at other listings, and read the reviews.
Okay, reviews. How do we know the reviews we're reading are even genuine? We all know that people can buy fake reviews online.
It's a challenge. You want to look for reviews marked as a verified purchase. That means the platform has confirmed the person actually bought the item.
That helps.
And just be wary of the extremes. A page full of nothing but glowing 5-star reviews that all sound the same, probably fake, but also be a little skeptical of a flood of super aggressive 1-star reviews. Sometimes that's a competitor trying to sabotage a product.
That makes sense. So after all that vetting, we have to think about what happens if something goes wrong. And that means you have to read the return and refund policies before you buy.
So many people skip this until it's too late. A good store makes its policies really clear and easy to find. You need to know a few key things. How long is the return window? What condition does the item have to be in? Do they charge a restocking fee? And, this is a big one, how do you get your refund?
Right, because getting store credit instead of your money back to your credit card is a huge difference.
It's a massive difference, especially if the product is a fake. That's a policy red flag. Other warning signs would be rules that are so restrictive it's almost impossible to make a return. Or, a lack of transparency about hidden fees.
And the biggest warning sign of all?
If you can't find clear, easy-to-access contact information for customer support to handle returns, if they're hiding from you before the sale, they will definitely be hiding from you after.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, now we're moving from vetting the store to securing the actual transaction, protecting your wallet and your privacy.
And this is where your choice of payment method is absolutely critical.
So what's best?
Credit cards and secure services like PayPal are, by far, your safest bets. Credit cards are great because they come with zero liability fraud protection. If a scammer gets your number, the bank absorbs the loss, not you.
And PayPal?
PayPal acts as a middleman. The seller never even sees your bank account or credit card details.
Okay, so what are the payment methods we should just run from? I'm guessing wire transfers and gift cards are at the top of that list.
They are the absolute worst. They're a scammer's favorite tool because they are irreversible. Once you send a wire transfer, that money is gone and it's almost impossible for anyone to trace it or get it back. Same goes for gift cards.
So if a website is pushing you to pay that way?
It's a dead giveaway you're being scammed. Your chance of getting that money back is basically zero.
Let's talk about the information we share. You see all those fields on the checkout form. What should we absolutely refuse to share?
You only share what is absolutely necessary. Name, address, payment info, that's it. If a site that sells t-shirts is asking for your date of birth or your social security number,
huge red flag.
It's a massive privacy red flag. They do not need that information, which means they are fishing for the keys to your identity.
And people might think, oh, what's the harm in giving my birthday? But what's the real risk there?
The risk is that these little pieces of data, your birthday, your mother's maiden name, they're often the answers to security questions for your bank account or your email. So when you overshare on some random unsecure site, you're handing thieves the puzzle pieces they need to take over your entire digital life.
Wow. Okay, so it's about using strong, unique passwords for every site and really paying attention to those privacy settings.
Exactly. Treat every piece of your personal data like it's a key to your house. You wouldn't hand out extra copies just because someone asked.
Okay, so we've secured the transaction and our data, but now we need to talk about where you are physically when you're shopping. Because if you're on that free coffee shop Wi-Fi, you might as well be shouting your credit card number across the room.
That's a perfect analogy. Shopping on public Wi-Fi is just inherently risky. These networks are often unsecured, which means a hacker on that same network can pretty easily intercept the data coming from your phone or laptop.
Through things like man-in-the-middle attacks.
Exactly. Or by setting up a fake, malicious Wi-Fi hotspot that looks just like the real one.
So what are the practical tips for shopping safely when you're out and about?
Well, rule number 1, if you absolutely have to shop on a public network, you must use a VPN, a virtual private network. It encrypts your entire connection.
Well,
Second, always verify the network name. Avoid those generic ones like free Wi-Fi. And third, keep your devices and your apps updated. Every single software update is patching security holes that scammers are trying to exploit.
and that leads to protecting the hardware itself. We can't forget about having good antivirus software.
You just can't. Think of antivirus software as your digital bodyguard. It's constantly scanning for and removing malware, viruses, and these nasty little programs called keyloggers that record everything you type.
Including passwords and credit card numbers.
Including everything. Stick to the big trusted names, Norton, McAfee, Kaspersky, and make sure it's always running and always updated.
It's like the moment you start ignoring those little pop-ups telling you to update your browser or your operating system, you're basically just leaving a back door unlocked.
It's the most basic form of security hygiene, and it's totally non-negotiable. Software updates exist to fix security holes. When you see one, install it. Better yet, just turn on automatic updates so you don't even have to think about it.
Okay, so we've covered the tech, the site, the device. Our final section is about the biggest threat that happens outside the website, phishing, and then the final safety net, which is monitoring your own accounts.
Phishing is a huge ongoing threat, and we all like to think we're too smart to fall for it, but these scams rely on really clever social engineering.
Right.
They use urgency and familiarity to trick you into just handing over your information willingly.
We've all seen them. The deceptive emails, the fake websites that look identical to PayPal or your bank, and that classic urgency tactic. Your account has been locked. Click here to fix it.
You have to become a bit of a detective with your email. First, always check the sender's actual email address. Just hover your mouse over the name to see the real address. Is it spelled weirdly? Is it from a strange domain? Second, look for bad grammar or generic greetings like, "Dear valued customer." A real company is going to use your name.
But the scammers are getting so much better now. The emails don't always look cheap and fake anymore.
They don't, and that's why this next rule is the most important one. If you get an unexpected email or text from your bank or a store that claims there's a problem,
Don't click the link.
never, ever click a link in the message. Always open a new browser window, go directly to the company's official website or app, and log in there to check on your account status.
That brings us to our final crucial safety net, actively monitoring your accounts. And this isn't something you do once a month when the statement comes.
No, the guidance now is to check your bank and credit card activity at least weekly, especially after you've been doing a lot of online shopping. This simple habit can help you catch a scammer before they do any real damage.
And you're looking for anything unfamiliar.
Anything, no matter how small. Scammers will often test a stolen card with a tiny transaction, maybe for $1 or $2, just to see if it's active.
Ah, so they test the waters before they go for a big purchase.
Exactly. If you catch that tiny test charge, you can call your bank and shut the card down instantly.
And finally, setting up alerts makes your bank your partner in this.
Absolutely. Use those alerts. You can get a text for any transaction over a certain amount, or for any purchase made in a foreign country, or for any online purchase at all.
That's immediate feedback.
It is. But again, same rule applies. If you get an alert about a suspicious transaction, don't click the link in the text or email. Verify it by logging directly into your official bank app or website.
This has been such a critical dive into securing our digital lives. It seems like safe shopping really rests on 3 pillars. The technical checks, like looking for that high-level SSL.
The behavioral research, like resisting the pressure of a flash sale and actually reading the policies.
And finally, that personal discipline, avoiding public Wi-Fi and religiously checking your statements.
We've covered those 11 key red flags, from the price being too good to be true to the payment method being way too risky. You should now have the tools you need to vet every single transaction.
And as we close out, I think the big takeaway is that security can't just be delegated to the stores and the platforms. They're improving their AI, they're improving their encryption, but the weakest link is almost always us, the human, making a rushed click.
So we've given you the knowledge, but we'll leave you with this question to think about. Given how incredibly clever these scams are becoming, and knowing that deep down we all tend to prioritize convenience over caution, how much are you really willing to invest in your time and your discipline to protect your own financial safety the next time you're browsing for that thing you just have to have? That's the true cost of convenience we all need to start calculating.
That's it for today's Meet Sean. If this helped, follow the show and share this episode with one person who needs it. See you next time.